The laws of social justice dictate that I cannot make a commentary about men going their own way without expressing that they seem to talk an awful lot about women for a group of people that claims to be done with them.
Yep, point taken. And I think I'm in agreement with you regarding that. But I will say there is a certain educational aspect to it where men have to fall back on their own resources when it comes to exposing female nature, because they're not going to be told the truth by other women in their lives, as in mothers or sisters. So in that regard, you could see it as something akin to why you're making this video, in that you're making a commentary on MGTOW. I think these men are basically making a commentary on female nature.
So, I'll admit that when I first decided I wanted to do a series talking about all these different men's groups, I didn't think that men going their own way would be a group that I would be talking about so soon. I was pretty sure that I would be doing the red pill next. And this was basically because, unlike incels, who were very popular in the mainstream discourse, and the red pill, who I perceive to be probably the strongest ideologically, in the sense that they have the most cohesive sense of identity, MGTOWs kind of were neither of those things. They were a little bit more fringe, not particularly dangerous in my view, and they tended to be a little bit more scattered in their individual philosophies. And
interesting points. I think I can help you there. So, first of all, MGTOW's not a movement. Now, you're going to find that difficult to understand. I can see that because I'm guessing that you would identify as a feminist, and of course feminism is an ideology and a movement, whereas MGTOW is a philosophy and a lifestyle. And so yes, there's going to be a wide variety of views because you're dealing with individual men. There's one commonality amongst us, which is that we won't cohabitate with Western women, and that would be that marriage or de facto relationships or whatever you have, whatever you like to call it. And so yes, it's going to appear scattered to someone who would, like with intersectional feminism, likes to group people together based on certain characteristics. So MGTOW is not about the group, it's about the individual, and it's about a decision that men make. So it's about the decision not to involve oneself with Western women. So I can see that where you'd come to some confusion regarding that, but I hope that's clarified things up for you somewhat.
And reasons for being in the movement. And so to me, that made them just kind of a much lower priority. But something I've been noticing lately is that a lot of the groups that I'm in that follow incels and the like, they've started to talk a lot more about men going their own way, and that kind of piqued my interest a little bit. There's something I really want to get out of the way, which is that there is this understanding in the men going their own way movement that they have decided that they're going to swear off women, they're not going to date women, they're not going to give women their resources. And for them, that is a huge slight to women. And
so you're saying that MGTOW see it as a huge slight against women. Now, I'm not sure where that's coming from or how you've got that impression. For MGTOW, once we've made the decision to not have women in our lives, we don't care what women think about that. Now, I'm an older MGTOW, and this is common amongst all the guys I know, and some of whom don't call themselves MGTOW. Okay, so they're not even aware of MGTOW, but they're living the MGTOW lifestyle. So no, it's not a slight against women. We transcend that. As a MGTOW, you're indifferent to women. So whether or not how a woman feels towards a MGTOW is irrelevant. So it's definitely not an intentional slight. I can see that, like, every woman that I've seen on YouTube regarding this topic sees it as a dig or a slight or some kind of insult or some kind of fight with women. There's no fighting from a MGTOW standpoint. There is absolutely no fight going on with women. Now, you may have some contention around that statement, but I can definitely tell you from a MGTOW point of view that that view does not hold water.
I just want to make clear that even if there are people out there trying to convince you to date women, that, what you're doing is wrong, that's not what this video is for. Firstly, because this video is not meant to debunk or disprove your ideas, but also because, in my personal view, I don't see anything wrong with your actions. I don't think that there is fundamentally anything wrong with the general idea of seeing what is going on in the dating market, the dating sphere, deciding you don't like it, and choosing to do something else with your time.
Yeah, well, you've said a lot there. So debunking MGTOW view, that was something that you probably shouldn't attempt to do, because there's only one view that's common to MGTOW, and that's that decision not to cohabitate with women. So I don't see how that you can debunk that view for a start, but to try and attempt to debunk an individual lifestyle decision and an individual philosophy to a large extent is something that I don't believe you can debunk. So there's that. You claim that you're not going to be attempting to shame men back onto the dating scene. Thank you for that as well. Now, you also say that you see nothing wrong with men walking away from dating. So that's one aspect of MGTOW. As far as the dating scene goes, MGTOW have no need for that in their life. And so MGTOW is bigger. It's more encompassing than the dating scene. We're talking about all Western women. Okay, so this is about walking away from all Western women, dating them or otherwise. We don't want Western women in our life. And it's difficult to accomplish, because you end up, especially if you're in work, like today's workplace, men and women have to cooperate, have to work together. So for a MGTOW, it becomes very difficult to maintain a working relationship with women.
Choosing to engage with dating in a different way. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that when women do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with when men do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that when anybody decides that dating is not for them, that they would rather remain single, that they would rather just do casual sex, that they would rather swear off the whole thing entirely. The problem is the reasoning.
The problem is the reasoning. We're going to have a conflict here, I can see, because as soon as you say a phrase like that, I think thought control. I see that you're attempting to control people's thinking. A man has his own reason for going MGTOW, whatever that is, and it's a valid reason. Because, as you've just said, you've got no problem with a man making the decision. And I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that. There is absolutely no issue with a man making the decision not to have women in his life. And you can't fault a man on that decision, and you therefore cannot fault a man on the reason behind that decision. It's a personal reason for each man, and I support him wholeheartedly in all aspects of that decision to go MGTOW. I believe it's the correct decision.
Behind it. I think that is what becomes harmful. Something that I was struck by as I was doing research for this video, going through the Men Going Their Own Way subreddit,